What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Paste Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are broadcasting to you live from the Manhattan Center here on 34th Street, as always, and we are welcoming right now Trout Steak Revival. What's going on, guys?
Hey, everybody.
All the way from Denver, CO. Thank you guys for crossing the country. Come to our little black box and play some songs for us today.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, I know it. So these guys are on tour, as was implied. Their new album, third album, is called Spirits of the Sea, came out in November. They are on the road right now, stopping in New York to play a show tonight, which I'll mention a little bit later. But I want to get to some music. You guys are going to play 3 songs from this new record for us. So let's start off with one of those. Tell me a little bit about this first one.
Cool, yeah. This first song is called Take Heart, and I wrote it to... it was kind of a letter to my grandfather about my grandmother back in Iowa.
All right.
But yeah, here it is.
Cool.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cause you pain, handkerchief tied on her curls outside in the falling Anamosa rain, circled around her coffin, holding our hands so tight, singing of the sweet hereafter and pipes on the mountainside. Then I hear her calling out in the dark. She said, take heart, take heart. Now I can see her in the mornings, in the fog of my sleepless nights, and I can hear her in the birds when they're calling from the tops of the trees outside, and I can feel her in the water, beating steady, beating true, and I can hear her in the words of my father, and I can hear her when I'm talking to you, and I hear her calling out in the dark. She said, take heart, take
Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. So that was a song off the new record, which is called Spirits of the Sea. And, for anyone who's been following you guys, record to record, this is number 3. The last one in 2015 called Brighter Every Day was definitely like a step forward in production and in kind of the range of the music you guys were making from the debut. And this one seems to have done that again. And so even though there's obviously like a bluegrass foundation to everything that you do, it seems clear that you're trying to sort of, not get stuck in the tropes or the cliches of bluegrass and Americana music. And I wonder sort of how you conceive to do that as you get ready to make these records each time. Are you taking from specific influences or genres? Is it a conscious effort to try to move this forward for yourselves as a style?
Yeah, that's a really insightful question.
Thank you.
The way that I look at it, and I think that a lot of us look at it, is that we love the textures of bluegrass music, and we love the emotionality of it, and we love the acoustic tones of it. But there's so much of the subject matter that's just like not in our lived experience, like we weren't working on stills, and we don't have cabin homes in the mountains and stuff, except for Steve for a while.
Thanks, Trev.
Yeah, but we want to write music that matters to us and that comes from our lives, and so a lot of us kind of write about things that have happened to us or things that we're kind of experiencing. Like actually on this record, there's a lot of loss songs, because like we've kind of had family members pass on, and we've had just these things happen in our lives, and sometimes this is how we kind of process through it, is to try to put those into our songs and make them real to us and hopefully real to other people too.
Yeah. So, it makes me wonder, in terms of the subject matter and writing about things that may not be, generic to the style about like, walking on a railroad or living in a cabin or whatever, does it kind of manifest itself in the music that comes out the other side? I mean, you guys could be writing totally traditional bluegrass songs about the things that you are living through, but it seems like, well, I don't know. I mean, does one sort of affect the other? Yeah,
I think in our loosening up of those kind of constraints around topical stuff, that sort of bleeds out into the music, that like we're able, as kind of more of this progressive side of the bluegrass tree, it's more incorporative of other styles and just of like, we were all in indie rock bands or in blues bands back in college, or classical music, or we were into like Neil Young and the band and all this stuff, kind of acoustic music, but some not, and just the ability to feel more free with like the influences that we incorporate and the direction that we can take our music, I think is something that we all find fun.
Yeah. Cool. So we're going to do a couple more with Trout Steak Revival from the new record, which is called Spirits of the Sea. Tell me a little bit about what's coming up next.
This song is called Side of the Road, and it's a co-write with Brad Parsons. I guess he just moved to Atlanta, but he was living in Portland, Oregon. And it's kind of about letting go of some of your worries and how they can become like quite a heavy load if you carry on too tight.
Yeah.
Days of darkness try to weigh us down like a
Thank you, guys. So I know there's a lot of collaborative writing in this group, but also individual songs written by individual members. How does it all come together when you guys are making records? Is it someone comes with a song and everyone sort of figures out their part, or are songs written totally collaboratively? How do you guys do it?
Well, that varies song to song, and it's always a little bit different. But I would say that thus far we've kind of brought together, we've brought our songs to the group when they have like a skeletal outline to them. And they've probably had verse and chorus. Sometimes like the most powerful tool we have as a group right now is arranging. And arranging for Trout Steak, which is kind of unique to anything else for us. So I'd say that for the time being, it is kind of like there's this individual like kind of like sit by the desk and just write, and everybody does that a little bit in their own way. And then there's this collaborative element which happens a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's an ever-changing landscape, and we share everything. We're kind of just this democracy of a unit. So who knows where it'll go.
Yeah, it's funny. That works for some bands and like not for others. The democratic approach.
Yeah.
Sometimes communism is really the best way. So we're gonna do one more song with Trout Steak Revival. These are all off the new record, which is called Spirit to the Sea. Tell me a little bit about this last one.
Yeah, this last one is called No Sweat, and it was a co-write actually with my wife, Haley. Of course, the band has a big part in how it ended up sounding. But yeah, it's just about working hard and a little bit of reflection on what's going on in the world right now.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's ride out on the human highway. At dawn we're rolling to a stormy backwards world in which we are living. New horizons are here, my friends. Winds of change, no time to waste. Through a broken rose-tinted lens, the American landscape. Glass, we'll pick up the pieces. Bad weather, not afraid to get wet. Challenge accepted, we'll take it. Perspiration, no sweat. So warm up the engine. Sore backs won't slow us down. This journey's far from over. We've lost too much ground. May we never tire, working hard to understand and be good to each other. Find the means and do what we can. Broken glass, we'll pick up the pieces. Bad weather, not afraid to get wet. Challenge accepted, we'll take it. Perspiration, no sweat. Broken system, unite the people. We've come too far to forget. We are all created equal, even if we've never met. Broken glass, we'll pick up the pieces. Bad weather, not afraid to get wet. Challenge accepted, we'll take it. Perspiration, no
Guys, thank you so much. Everyone, this is Trout Steak Revival. The new record came out a little late last year. It's called Spirits of the Sea, but they are on the road, including a show here tonight in New York City at the Rockwood Music Hall. So go check them out there. There are plenty more dates to find at troutsteak.com, as well as videos and songs and bios and all the good stuff that you find on websites generally. I think that's it. Congrats on the record. Thank you so much for playing these songs from it for us today. And, come back and play for us again in the Paste Studio anytime, all right?
Awesome. Thanks,
All right. Thank you, guys.
Magazine.
Having us.